Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Pirate Prepper here. Well, it's almost half past May 2021, and we are looking at some fun times ahead. Looking around the country right now, we had a gas pipeline shut down, which has 14, 17 states in a state of emergency because 40+% of the gas stations are out of gas. Now, question comes up, we're going along with that. Where are you going? How many of you actually have jobs? Just asking. At the same time, what are you thinking? Watching videos and pictures where people are filling up 275-gallon water containers with gas. Which, okay, that's livable. But plastic shopping bags? Plastic totes with gasoline? Really? Did you not think this through? At the same time, we're going into hurricane season, which may start early this year. Which, hey, for those in Florida and the Gulf Coast, y'all have fun, you hear? These same people who are buying gas in plastic bags. Yeah, you've seen the videos, you've seen the pictures too. Are these the same people who go to Home Depot and buy the generators and all that other stuff right before the hurricanes hit, then take them back and try and get a refund every year? Are these the same people that go out and buy all the bread, all the milk, all the eggs? What is it, a hurricane party where everybody has to have French toast? People, every year, same thing happens. Get your generator, try it out, clean out the carburetor, put it away, leave it there. Get some gas, put some stabilizer in it, put it back, rotate it every so often. Not a problem, okay? The bread, come on, really? How many peanut butter and jellies can you have? You don't need 30 loaves of bread. So, get some shelf-stable foods. Heck, get some powdered peanut butter, of all things. It lasts for freaking ever. Get some ravioli, get some SpaghettiOs. You can eat them cold. Yeah, not the greatest, but you can eat them cold. Get some beef stew. Get all those little things that all you got to do is warm them up. Guess what? Your microwave still works. The gas is gone, but your microwave still works. Yes. Think about this, people. If you're going to be out of supplies at the grocery for a couple of weeks, potentially, because of shortages, gas shortages, driver shortages, shipping container shortages, it would make sense to have some stuff on hand at home. A couple weeks worth, perhaps, maybe even longer. Now, while prices are up, and we'll get to that in a few minutes, while prices at the grocery store are up, if the prices continue to do what they're expected to do and always have done, guess what? The prices are going to continue to go up. Which means that if you buy it now, you're essentially buying stuff at a sale price for later. And you have it in case you need it. So go buy something. Go do something. But please, don't put your gas in a shopping bag. Okay, so I mentioned price increases. Well, it is 2021, and hey, 2020? Right now, food across the board is up 4.2% from a year ago. Thank you, NPR. So if what you can buy right now is at a minimum 4.2% up, which means you get 4.2% less when you go shopping. Considering how much our bill has gone up, and other people's I've talked to bills gone up, some have gone up almost 50%. Think about that for a second. Imagine what it could be, and may probably get to. Price of used cars. Can't get new cars right now because of the chip problem, apparently. But used cars are up 21%. You're paying a fifth again what you would have paid a few months ago for a used car. Ridiculous. So maybe, just maybe, if you got that spare car sitting around not doing anything, you might want to sell it and reinvest the money. Gas? Before the pipeline shortage came about a couple days ago, gas was up basically 50% from a year ago. 50%. Politics? Maybe. Shortage? Well, it wasn't then. But 50% for the same gas. The New York Times made a comment about the economy, and the official increase basically across the board is 0.9%. Now, it doesn't sound like much, but that's in the last month. That's the highest increase we've had in interest, increase, 0.9, since April of 1982. Anybody else remember 1982? What was the economy doing? Horrible. We were trying to get out of the Jimmy Carter years. Yeah, Reaganomics. It was rough. The 80s were really rough on people, and guess what? We're looking at it again. People, start planning ahead. Do the math yourself. If the increase was 0.9, 12 months of that is 10.8%. Can you stand an across the board 10+% increase in all your costs and expenses? My raise isn't that good this year, or last year, or the year before, we even had together. A 10% increase, minimum. That's kind of ugly. In fact, that's really ugly, especially for Americans. If we start looking at places like Argentina, Venezuela, Zimbabwe, South Africa, and I know they're not the same economies we have, but they're similar enough we should be paying attention to what's happening and the shortages. We're looking at something happening here that could create troubles that the U.S. hasn't seen since the 60s and 70s. The civil unrest, people comment about some of the activities of some of the nefarious groups nowadays. And if you look back, there was over 1,000 bombings. Yes, I used the bad word for the algorithms. Thanks. Back in the 60s and 70s in the U.S. We're not talking about third world countries. Well, maybe Detroit. But this is something we have to look at. We have to look at it for ourselves. I can't change what Congress does. They're going to do what Congress does. I can't change what the house does. That's what the house does every time. What I can do is use my brain and my wallet to further my family's existence. What can I put back against the rising costs? What can I do to alleviate a 4.2% increase in food costs, minimum? You know, if I look at how much salt, for example, which is cheap, great. How much do we use in a year? How many canisters? 4, 5, maybe? Well, but they're like $1.50 a piece, maybe? What? $2. So if I go spend $10 on salt, I'm essentially buying it at a sale price later, and I have it. If we have another shortage, thanks to what was happening a year ago? Virus? Yeah. Lots of people baking bread, or so it seemed. You know, how hard was it to find flour, yeast? Now that yeast is available again, it's probably a good time to get some. Just saying. But how much are you going to use in a year? Realistically, are you using 1 packet of yeast if you're not buying the jars? 1 packet of yeast per week. How many packets do you need for a year then? 52. Plan for 3 months. Plan for 6 months. Plan for a year. Plan ahead of time, though. Buy what you need now while it's available. Before, people do stupid things, panic, have a rush, and are putting gasoline in plastic bags and in their car. Ammunition's finally hitting the shelves again for those of you who are interested in that kind of thing. Don't go buy everything you see. Leave some for the next person. They might need it more than you do. Start looking at what you can do around your house. Can you make a little extra money? Can you cut your expenses? Can you grow something? Look at your spices. Look at the cost of them. You know, your herbs. How much does parsley cost? Cilantro. Rosemary. You can grow all these on a back porch. They're fresh, they're good, and it costs you a lot less than going to the store and buying one little, bundle of cilantro for $3. And then you have it also. So get off your butts. Make a list of the things you use for 3 months, 6 months, or a year. Things you actually use. If you don't eat lima beans, don't buy lima beans. If you use 2 cans of black beans a month, well, guess what? There's, 2 cases? Depends what size the case is. Some of your grocery stores have case lot sales. Go buy them for $10 a case. Put them back. Mark them. Mark the dates. Rotate through them. Okay, you now have your own grocery shelf at home. You pull one from the front. Next time you go to the store, you buy one to put in the back. You're just rotating what you have on hand. Your pantry just got bigger. That's all. I'm not encouraging you to do anything stupid, illegal, or immoral. Could be fattening, depending on how you look at it, though. Take a minute, look through your pantry, figure out what you need to do around your house, for your family, so you can continue to thrive, so you can continue your normal life as close as possible. If that means you got to have 3 extra cans of canned pie filling in the back, great, go get them. An extra 50 pounds of sugar. Guess what? When you buy in bulk, it's cheaper. Lots cheaper. Those dollar bags of rice for $1, $1.25, whatever they've gone up to now. If you can buy that same rice in a 50-pound bag for $25, guess what? You just saved a bunch of money. Now use it. Or pack it for later. 9 million videos on how to Mylar pack rice and other grains in buckets. Get off your butt and do something, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to get expensive. We're looking at the same kind of situation in a lot of respects that our grandparents and great-grandparents were looking at in the Great Depression. If you look at the numbers, inflation, expenses, everything else, it's very similar. We just don't admit it. So if you can grow something, grow something. If you can put something back, put something back. If you have to go to the store, buy it, buy it. But do something. Get ahead of the game here. I mentioned before, this gentleman down in Venezuela. He thought he was doing great, having a year's worth of food. Well, 7 years later, he's still working off that 1 year's worth of food. But it's helping him supplement and augment what he can get at the store. That money he spent 7 years ago has helped him out so much because he doesn't have to spend 1,000 times as much today for the same amount of food. I'm not saying we're going there. I'm saying we have to think about things that might happen, and that could happen. What you have in your pantry, stock it deep. Plan for the worst case scenario. You don't have to buy it all at once. Certain things, it's easier, just go buy 10 cans of salt or 10 containers of black peppercorns, or. Pick your product. Other things, a can here, a can there. A couple cans of this, couple cans of that. You don't want to spend $10,000 at a time. Unless you got it, of course, in which case, hey, rock and roll, good for you. Most of us are on a budget. Pretty tight budget right now. Can you pull an extra $5 out to say, hey, we'll start putting the next little extra back for emergencies, for the dark times, for the hard times, so my family can still eat, so we're not suffering. Start looking at other videos. Clara's Kitchen, Depression Cooking, great one. Too bad the old lady had to pass away. Great little tidbits of information from the Great Depression. Recipes, little hints, little tidbits. Books by Euell Gibbons. Stalking the Wild Asparagus, things like that. How to forage. These are things that the people back then did without thinking. They went out, and if they saw an apple, a tree on the way home, hey, ask permission to get some apples, or don't ask. Start looking around. What do you got? What resources are available to you? Then, make a plan and implement it. Could get rough, ladies and gentlemen. And I don't know about you. I don't want to rough it, even camping. So, good luck. We're all in this together. Have a great day.